Oh boy, dogs may be our best friend, but when it comes to communication, we're more like neighbors 3 doors down. If you've ever wondered what your little buddy is trying to say, like if they're trying to warn you of something, hey, get him to use his words. Yeah, otherwise try these. Sneezing and yawning, not you, the dog. When your dog starts sneezing or opening their mouth to yawn, you might think they've inhaled some pollen or that they just need a nap. But if they're in an unfamiliar environment surrounded by strange people or pets, it might mean Fido is getting nervous. Things can get confusing because yawning is also a sign of contentment, so keep an eye out to see if your pet's yawn seems out of place. High and stiff tail. When you're out and about with your pooch, you may notice their tail sticking straight up. As with yawning, this can mean different things depending on the situation. Often it's your dog's way of showing off, showing other hounds that they're not just any other mutt. Be careful though, because a raised tail is also used to show dominance, and canines won't always agree on who's top dog. Tongue flicking. The next time you see your dog licking his chops, it doesn't necessarily mean he's hungry. Flicks of the tongue are a sign that they're worried you might be angry with them. If they just ate your pot roast 5 minutes before the guests arrive, you might have a reason to be mad, but don't confuse anxiety with guilt. Dogs are pretty good at reading the room, but don't always know when they've done something wrong. Tilting their head. Does your dog tilt its head when you talk to it? It may be trying to hear you better or see you around its muzzle. However, dogs can recognize patterns, and the head tilting can happen because they know it gets a giggle out of you. Dogs might not know the word cute, but they know being cute is a great way to get your approval. Be careful though, constant tilting of their head can be a sign of an ear infection that needs treatment. Digging. Chances are you like dogs a lot more than a hole in your lawn, but sometimes it can be tricky to get one without the other. Your canine companion might be digging for several reasons. Anxiety and hunger are both possibilities, but one common cause is boredom. A dog with too much energy needs to find something to do with its time, and if it's not playing fetch or going on walks, digging is their next favorite pastime. Eye contact. Does your dog love to stick her snout in your face, or does he turn away when you try to look him in the eye? For dogs, eye contact is a sign of trust and affection. If they turn away, it means they're either frightened, uncomfortable, or doing something you wouldn't approve of. Hey, where'd my ham go? Drooping ears. Few things are sadder looking than a dog with drooping ears. Usually, that's precisely the signal they're trying to send. It can also be another sign of an ear infection. If giving them their favorite toy doesn't seem to cheer them up, it might be a good idea to swing by the vet. Remember, even a seemingly minor infection can cause permanent damage to your furry friend. Bringing you things. Dogs appreciate gifts just as much as people, and they like to give them too. If Rover comes bounding up to drop his favorite toy at your feet, it might mean he wants you to have it. This is also the reason dogs will occasionally return with random objects they found outside or any small animals that weren't quick enough to get away. How sweet. Your dog or cat ever brought you a surprising little gift? Let me know down in the comments if you've seen any of this strange behavior in your pet. And on to the next one. Wagging their tail to the left or right. Now, we tend to assume that a wagging tail means a dog is happy, but that's not always the case. Wagging on the right is a sign that they want to approach a person or animal, but if their tail is wagging on the left, that's their way of warning you about danger, like that snake hiding in the bushes. Long story short, you both will be better off somewhere else. Wagging back and forth. A slow tail wag back and forth signals that the dog is unsure of the situation, so you might want to keep your distance until he's figured it out. A quick and shaky back and forth may look completely different but has a similar meaning. Take it as a signal that the animal is on edge and best left alone for now. Destructive chewing. Well, it shouldn't be news to anyone that dogs like to chew. Unfortunately, chewing isn't always restricted to their toys, and many a shoe has fallen afoul of Fido's teeth. Usually it's enough just to direct your dog to something more appropriate. If that doesn't work, it could mean something is missing from their diet, like leather, or that they're feeling anxious. Touching you. Is your dog feeling lonely? Dogs will often put their paw on you while you're sitting down or rub up against you as you go past. Puppies also tend to paw at the air when they want something. These are their ways of getting your attention. It probably means they want you to pet or play with them. So get to it. Whimpering. This is a tricky one, since the same sounds can mean different things. Assuming you've already made sure your pet is free from injury, it could be their way of telling you that they need to be walked, and soon. It might also be a sign of fear, so keep your eyes out for other signs, like hiding their tail between their legs. Constant kisses. Depending on your personality, getting licked by a big slobbery pooch is either the best or worst thing your pet can do for you. I like it. Part of it is that dogs just like the way you taste, or more accurately, the salt in your sweat. It can also be a sign of submission or an attempt to gain a belly rub. Scooting across the floor. It may be funny to see your four-legged friend dragging his rear end across the floor, but that usually means they need a good bath. It can also be a sign of intestinal parasites. If you notice that your little buddy spends a lot of time dragging their backside across the floor, it's probably time to get them checked out. Tearing furniture. If your dog's tearing up the couch, it could signal a bad case of separation anxiety. Most pups will grow out of it, but in the meantime, you can try walking them more regularly. This will help burn off that pent-up energy and reinforce that you don't stop existing every time you leave for work. If the problem persists, you might want to think about consulting a professional dog trainer. Limp tail. A dog's tail is an essential tool for both communication and balance. If your dog's tail is hanging limp and they don't seem to like using it, well, that's a red flag that something might be wrong. The tail is one of the most injury-prone parts of a dog's body, so if theirs is barely getting any use, you'll want to have it looked at right away. Curled tails. Some dogs have naturally curly tails, but if it looks like your dog is pulling their tail toward the head, it's a sign they're getting overexcited, especially if they're in a large, unfamiliar crowd or there are loud noises. You'll want to find a nice quiet spot where they can calm down before they get too worked up. Tail chasing. Certain breeds, such as German Shepherds and some Terriers, are known to chase their tails compulsively, and no one is 100% sure why. With other breeds, it might just be that they're bored or looking for attention. Meanwhile, puppies don't always realize the tail they're nipping is their own. Just make sure they aren't trying to bite their tail, since that can be a red flag of parasites or some other medical problem. Bowing. When you see a dog bend its front legs and raise its behind in the air, that's your cue. It's time to play, human! Well, I wouldn't recommend it while surrounded by strangers. You can try bowing back if you really want to make the pooch's day. By the way, have you noticed that dogs are lousy card players? It's true. It's very easy to win over the pooch. The reason? Well, dogs tend to wag their tails when they get a good hand. If you learned something new today, then give the video a like and share it with a friend. Here are some other cool videos to check out. Just wag your clicker to the left and right, and remember, stay on the bright side of life.